Greetings YouTubers, AtariLeaf here with another video. It's been a few months again since I've done a last video. And before I get into this one a little bit, I'd kind of like to share a personal story. Bit of a health scare that I had about 5.5, 6 weeks ago. I was getting ready for work. It was a Monday morning and everything seemed fine. I felt fine. About 6:30 in the morning, and this would, about 6 weeks ago, just about. I start to get ready to make breakfast. And I'm starting to put toast in the toaster. I started to put bread in the toaster. You don't put toast in the toaster. So I started to put bread in the toaster, and all of a sudden my vision started to get all blurry and kind of like a double vision, even a triple vision. Everything was spinning. A couple minutes after that, my whole side of my face and my mouth started to go real numb. And I woke up my wife because she was still sleeping. Now, I'm not one to go to the doctor. And she said there was something wrong, because I said to her, you got to call an ambulance. Something is seriously wrong here. And my vision, I couldn't see properly. Everything was spinning. I was thinking okay, I was cognizant. My muscles, everything worked, but I was having this eye issue and this face issue. And I seriously thought I was having a stroke. So the ambulance comes, and the first thing they do is they take my blood pressure. My blood pressure was 255 over 188. Now, for those of you who don't know anything about blood pressure, regular blood pressure should be about 120 over 80. And don't ask me what those numbers mean. But I was more than double of what a human being's blood pressure should be. The EMS techs were surprised I didn't have a heart attack and didn't have a stroke. So I go to the hospital, and they put me on blood pressure medication. They did a CAT scan, EKG of my heart. Everything turned out fine. I went for a stress test, which is where you run on the treadmill and they test your heart. I had an ultrasound done on my heart. Everything came back normal. And as of today, the last couple of weeks, I've been pretty much back to normal, but I've been on the medication that the doctors prescribed. I've also had to change my diet, and I've had to exercise a lot more. We bought an exercise bike that we have in our bedroom that I've been using for the past week. It's great, and it really helps. But long story short, between stress, which we all have, right? One of the biggest factors was my diet. My diet sucked. I worked in construction. Well, I do work in construction. And it's so easy just to grab a burger, a slice of pizza, something like that every day. And my sodium was way too high, and your salt. So you have to be careful of what you eat, is the bottom line. So I've completely changed my diet. No junk food, no fast food. I've been eating a lot more salads, a lot more chicken, a lot more fish, nuts and berries and things for protein. You can eat peanut butter. There's a lot of things you can still eat, that I can still eat, and still be satisfied, but at the same time, keep me healthy, is the bottom line. And one of the good things out of it is in this last 6 weeks, I've lost 27 pounds. So, and the doctor said everything's good. I went to see him Wednesday. All my results are good. My blood test came back good. Cholesterol, maybe a little borderline, but that was scary. I mean, I seriously thought I was having a stroke. So, it's one of the reasons I haven't been around a lot lately. Because, that first couple of weeks, I just kind of laid low. Didn't even work, nothing. So, but I'm better now. And hopefully with the diet and the exercise and the medication, which I'll be on for the rest of my life probably, will help. But that's scary. Very scary. Okay, let's get that out of the way. That's done. Now let's talk about something a little more interesting. The Atari systems that are coming out. This seems to be a kind of a resurgence year for Atari. And there's 3 different interesting things that are coming out. And if you watch my channel, you probably already know about these. The first one being the newest iteration of the flashbacks. There's like 3 or 4 of these things this year. The higher end one, the one I'm interested in, is the HD Gold, I think it's called, Activision. Has 133 games, and it has HDMI. You can plug in your joysticks and your paddles. The only thing that I would like to see in future versions is an SD card slot. They put an SD card slot in last year's portable, and I think in this year's too, so I'm not sure why they couldn't have put an SD card slot in the console. Maybe there's a reason for it. I haven't read about it yet. The other one, and this one I don't think anybody really knows too much about. It's the Atari box, which, if you saw the trailer video, it's kind of, people are almost describing it like an Ouya with an Atari label on it. It's supposed to be a console. It doesn't accept any kind of media, so it's probably download only. I could be wrong about this. I'm kind of going off memory of what I read on Atari Age. So I'm kind of looking forward to that one, but we need a lot more information before I can make any kind of informed decision about it. But the last one, the one that's got me the most interested, is the Retron 77. And as I'm making this video, Pat the NES Punk just made a video about this too. I think it's the one that most people who are Atari collectors are interested in, because like the Retron 5, you plug your card in, and you're playing, it's emulation, it's like a cart dump, and you're still playing it. You'll have save states, for example. And yeah, that's coming out in December. Now, the one caveat with that is according to the people at Hyperkin, they're using an older version of Stella, and then they're kind of reverse engineering to get Stella up to using some of the current, so you can play your homebrews. Instead of using the current version of Stella, they don't want to license it. I'm assuming it has something to do with them not wanting to release their source code, but again, I could be wrong about that. But I'd like to see them use the latest version of Stella, because as far as I'm concerned, you're crippling yourself and causing yourself a lot more money, a lot more work to kind of make Stella custom for the Retron instead of just using the one that's available out there. Just release your source code. I don't think it's a big deal. But yeah, the Retron 77. I'm looking forward to that. Should be out by Christmas. The flashback, maybe. And the Atari box, well, we'll see. Now, finally, to wrap up this video, I do actually have some pickups. I think my last pickup video was in February. So I've got just a few things, not a lot here. Maybe 15, 16, 17, 18 things, something like that. I'll start with free things. Free. I mentioned before that the local game store, there's a fellow there named Red. So Red, if you're watching, thank you. He gives me stuff every now and then, either out of his collection or stuff in the store that they're not selling. So one of the things he gave me a few weeks ago were a bunch of these, sorry about the squeaky chair, Antec magazines. Late 80s, so they're kind of cool. Reading material. So thank you, Red. There's about maybe 8 or 9 of these here, Antec magazines. So Atari magazines, Atari computer. He also gave me that same day it's a graphic novel, but he gave it to me, one, because it's got an 80s style to it, and two, apparently there's an Atari reference in here, which I haven't gotten to yet because I've only read up to chapter 2. But it's called Six from Sirius. Interesting cover. Definitely reminds me of the 80s. 80s sci-fi stuff. The last thing he gave me for free, I was mentioning to him about how I'm a huge fan of, like, my two favorite movies of all time are The Empire Strikes Back and Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's not even 1 and 2, it's like 1A, 1B. So he had this sitting in the store, it's still sealed. I'm not going to use it because I don't have a Laserdisc player, but it's the Laserdisc version of Raiders of the Lost Ark. So what I'm probably going to do with this is go to a record store and get one of those album, what do you call it? Frames. You can put a frame. Frame it and put it on the wall. That's what I want to do. I want to frame this with a record player, record frame. You can buy frames for these things. Put it on the wall as art. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. So that's the free stuff. Now, I've done purges before, and I've mentioned I don't really regret getting rid of anything, but there's been a few Atari games I've been seeing people talk about and watching gameplay. I'd like to get that again. So some of the ones I've picked up in the last weekend, just loose. Vanguard, a couple of bucks. Turmoil, a couple of bucks. And Dark Cavern. There's some more I'm going to get maybe tomorrow too. We'll see if they have them or not. This was recent. This was eBay, but I got it just this past week. They wanted 20 for it loose. I offered 14 Canadian plus shipping. They accepted Pac-Mania. I don't think I've had this version before. I've got the Genesis version. Never had the NES version for it, and it's got the sleeve. So, Pac-Mania. This was $3 at a local Goodwill. I just picked this up again a couple of days ago. $3 Boom Blocks for the Wii. Haven't tried it yet, but I've heard good things. Made by Steven Spielberg. Huh. Okay. Picking up some box games for the Atari. Again, eBay. This was $10 plus shipping. Keystone Capers boxed. No manual, but it's in really good shape. This is the international version, so it's got all the different languages like Spanish and French on it. Keystone Capers. Okay. Went yard sailing a couple of weeks ago. $5. Got a DS Lite. Now, I don't know if this works, and I didn't really check it out. I don't have a charger for this thing. Apparently, it's got a different kind of charger on it. But it's got that loose hingy thing. What are you going to do? And there's something I didn't notice rattling inside. So I don't even know if it works. But it was only $5. The other one I picked up at another yard sale was a 2DS for $5. Now, what was interesting about this was the person, they probably didn't know, or they were probably trying to scam me, maybe, I don't know. This was only $5 for a 2DS, which is a really good deal. So I get it home and I find out it won't read cards. It won't read any of the little game cards. So I sprayed a little bit of, I have it right here, this deoxit. Great stuff, by the way. Sprayed a little bit out of that in the top, and it reads games perfectly. So for example, what do we got here? Yeah, but it works fine. Space Invaders Extreme 2. I didn't get that in the auction. Actually, it came with Super Mario 64 DS, which I subsequently traded in at the game store. But yeah, Space Invaders Extreme 2. Fun game, by the way. So $5 for that. Let's see. Computers for kids. I've mentioned that yard sale before. Sims Double Deluxe, $5. It's got a whole bunch of Sims games in it. Sims 1. Sims, Living Large, House Party, and a Creator. I think you can put your own face in the Sims. I tried it. It's ridiculous because it's so low res. But yeah, I love the Sims, so I was happy to find that. eBay. These were 99 cents each. I was the only bidder on these things. A guy out of London, Ontario, so it only cost me like $10 in shipping for both of these. Defender and Star Raiders in the box. It's ridiculous. Look at the size of these things. Here's an Atari 2600 box compared to the Atari 8-bit box. But you consider the games are actually like this big. Okay. This is a bunch of air. But yeah, for that price, it was a really good deal. And the final thing, I think it's the last thing. Yes. Fellow out of Toronto, Ontario contacted me. Apparently, I talked to him 3 years ago via email. He's a big PC collector, and he was getting rid of a lot of his collection. So he sent me pictures of what he had, and he had some great stuff. He had like all the Space Quest games. He had a lot of the Sierra stuff. But what caught my eye, because I'm a retro arcade fanatic, were 5 specific titles, box titles, which are in great shape. They cost me $45 plus shipping in total, Canadian. $45 shipping in total, Canadian. So the first 3 are of one theme. We've got Atari 2600 Action Pack for Windows, which has 15 Activision games on it. We have pack number 2 with another 15 games on it. And pack number 3 with, how many is on this one? 12. And it's not all Activision. It's like got Breakout and Combat, Canyon Bomber, Space War, Yard's Revenge, Night Driver. So I guess they ran out of Activision titles for this. But yeah, $5 each for those. For another $5, this one was really cool because I originally had this back in '94, I think. I first got this. I got this before I ever had it on Genesis or Super Nintendo. Williams Arcade Classics. 6 great games. Defender, Joust, Robotron, Bubbles, Defender 2, Sinistar. Sinistar is really hard. But the one I really wanted, and I was glad I was able to get, this one cost 25 bucks, but to me it's worth it. Rampage. Boxed and complete. It's got both 5 1/4 and 3.5 inch discs in here. And again, all of these boxes are in just beautiful shape. Everything is complete. Everything's included. For that price, I thought it was just fantastic, really. So that's it. Still planning on making some reviews. In fact, I got my Wii in the room now, and I know people don't like to do this, but I might use the Wii's emulation, the homebrew channel, to record some gameplay. It's just a lot more convenient for me to just hook up the Wii, pick a game that I want to review, and then capture it. But like, for example, if I do a Game Boy game, I might just show on my one of these also too, just so you get an idea of what it looks like. But that's about it. Thanks for letting me ramble on like an idiot for a while. Take care of yourselves out there. We're not getting any younger. I'm 47, and man, it was not my time to go. So, lesson learned, I suppose. Thanks for listening, everybody. This is AtariLeaf. I'll see you soon, hopefully. Have a great one.